This actually come up, I remember sometimes early this year, UNAM School of Medicine put up a public call where they were requesting members of the public to consider donating their bodies to science for educational purposes because one, there was a shortage and the bodies, or actually cadavers are actually crucial in the medical studies. So we started observing conversation, dialogue around, and we realized that there was some conflicting and some interesting opinion flying around there. So we thought, let's put up this conversation just so we can, number one, educate the public. And through that awareness, we would like to believe that we are contributing to medical research in a way.
Okay, I understand it's for medical purposes, or studies rather. But what is the real motivation around it?
The real motivation, maybe let me quickly take you back a bit on how Conscious Millennials came about. We started working on a cervical cancer awareness campaign in 2020, and we also made a contribution. We don't want to take credit for it, but we contributed towards the acquiring of the HPV vaccine in public hospitals, as we've seen that it happened in August. So then we thought we've made an impact in these areas, although we still have a long way to go there. So then we decided, let's impact public health from a medical research perspective. Hence now this conversation that we are putting up.
Now, what psychological impact will donating one's body have on both the person who donates and the family?
I know number one, it's not easy. One, it's a new thing in our midst. And, there's this belief you find sometimes when there was a missing person, you find they're saying, oh, if only we can get the body so we bury and all that. But imagine in this case where the body gets to go to science and the people don't get to have a grave, where they can, so you find somebody just go to the grave, talk to their loved one and all that. So all these emotional tolls, somehow they come into play. But we were assured, because we started this conversation last week with an in-person session at the School of Medicine, we were assured that School of Medicine is doing everything possible to ensure that there is that emotional support available not only to prospective donors, but even to their loved ones.
Now, I am aware, our conversation prior to this interview, you did tell me that there is no compensation.
Correct.
But when one wants to donate, what is involved? What is the process like? Take us through that.
All right, so the process is they contact UNAM, that is the anatomical division, specifically Dr. Annalie Pullman. She's the one that I've been working with on setting up all this. So they contact her and then they get a form, an application form where they get to fill in their details and their consent that is what they want to do. And then there comes now the legal part where they also have to indicate that in their will or their wishes and everything that they want to see happen when they pass. And then they also get to have this conversation with their loved ones, yet again to address the emotional toll, as we've mentioned it in the previous question.
How do you then now keep track of the person to know that, okay, well, this person is no more? And maybe the people who are initially driving this initiative perhaps don't work there anymore. What mechanisms have you put in place to make sure that you do, at the end of the day, get the body of the person, even if they traveled outside of the country?
All right. The thing is, this is being run, or the program is being run by UNAM at the Anatomical Division under the UNAM School of Medicine, like I mentioned. So it's not something that is being run by an individual. And I would like to believe that they have, communication techniques in place with prospective donors. So that will be between them, but I'm certain they will have a way of tracking this person.
Now, how long will the body be in use after the person is deceased and they're now being used in a classroom? How long does that take? And is there a period of time where they say, okay, maybe now it's time for us to give the body back to the family? What then happens?
The bodies are used, we understand they are used for 2 years. Like, once again, I want to make it clear here that I don't represent UNAM, but this information, like I mentioned, we started the conversation last week. So we were informed that the body is used for 2 years, and after that, it can then be, depending on the family's wish and the wish of the donor at that time, then the body can then be given back to the family, be it a body as it is, or maybe they'll consider cremations and then the family get the ashes and get to bury their loved one.
Well, let's paint an instant where we have Jonathan. Jonathan says, well, I want to donate my body. And then he now passes on, and then his family says, but our tradition doesn't allow this. We have to give him a bit, but his will says that he has to. What then happens to make sure that his wishes are heard and also the family, are pleased in their request?
Number one, we go back to the fact of saying have this conversation with your loved ones. Don't rush into, you just saw, oh, they're talking about this, let me quickly go in and sign myself up. Number one is encouraged to have this conversation with their loved ones. Make sure that there's understanding. And I think traditional values, that's why if you look at the panel that we have Dr. Hiangaru Vethevete. He's well known, he's an expert of the Ovaherero tradition. So he's going to help us answer and address some of these questions. But like I mentioned, we started this conversation last week. So he assured us that with the proper awareness and for as long as the ethics are being upheld, he doesn't see anything wrong with one donating their body to science in terms of traditional values and heritage.
All right, Leena, let's come back to today's afternoon session that is virtual, happening from 2 o'clock to 4:30. Who can be expected at this session? And also, where can people get the link so that they are part of this awareness session?
All right, so for this conversation, we are calling everybody who can make the time to tune in, join us, and get to learn, so we all get to learn together. There's no limit. You don't need to be of a certain age. We are actually imploring our fellow young people to join us because we say we are the futures of tomorrow and all that, although we are leading today. So we would like our fellow young people to join us and, just get to be part of that conversation. But actually everyone, every member of the public, everyone who will be in the position to join in on the virtual session, they are more than welcome to join us. So the link can be found on, we have a Facebook page, Conscious Millennials. If you go there, if you want to, because there might be some other similar names online, so look for the one that has a profile picture with the Namibian flag or Namibian flag colors in it, that is us. Or they can also contact me on my number, 081-4157-544, and I'll be able to give them access to the link.
So you said social, that is Facebook,
yeah,
and Instagram, and
no, we are currently just on Facebook.
Okay.
So it's Facebook, Conscious Millennials. You'll be able to see us.
Okay, so then they can tune in.
Yeah.
Well, Leena, any final remarks?
One, I would like to thank you guys, the media, for giving us this platform to talk about what we are doing. I mean, we are talking of public awareness, public education, and we can't achieve that without the media on board, so we thank you for that. And we also like to thank the Namibian people, those who have assisted us in the last few weeks when we were putting this together, specifically Dr. Anneli Puhlman at School of Medicine. And we also like to thank our experts, as we are calling them, our speakers for our session. We started this last week Thursday, and I know it was not easy. They have to set aside their busy schedule and join us. And finally, once again, I would like to implore the Namibian nation to join us. Let's go learn together. I mean, everything starts with a single step, so this could be it. And maybe 5 years from now, we will have body donation to science as a norm compared to how it is now and everything in our midst. Thank you so much.